The great hall of the Galactic Academy was filled with voices from many worlds. Tall beings with shining skin, creatures with wings, and students with glowing eyes gathered for the lesson on survival species. Holograms of powerful alien beasts floated in the air, showing claws, armor, and burning jaws. The class watched with pride as their own homeworld predators were praised as perfect killers. At the back of the hall stood a young human cadet named Aaron. He was smaller than most of the others and wore a simple uniform with the Earth symbol on his chest. At his feet sat a medium-sized brown dog with alert eyes and a calm posture. The dog's name was Rex. He waited quietly, tail resting on the floor, ears moving at every sound. When it was time for Earth to present its creatures, the room grew noisy. Several students turned to look at Aaron and then at the dog. A few of them laughed. "That is your warrior beast?" One tall reptilian student asked with a wide grin. "It has no armor. No claws worth seeing. It looks soft." Another student with glowing blue eyes leaned forward. "We expected a monster from a death world. This is only a pet." The laughter spread across the hall. Aaron felt his face grow warm, but he did not step back. He placed one hand gently on Rex's head. The dog stayed calm and looked around the room without fear. "Our world is dangerous in different ways," Aaron said in a steady voice. "Earth animals survive with courage and teamwork." More laughter followed. A bird-like student flapped its wings in mock surprise. "Courage? That thing would not last 1 minute against our training beasts." The instructor, a tall silver-skinned alien named Vorin, raised a hand for silence. "Human cadet, explain this animal to the class. Why do you bring it here?" Aaron took a breath. "This is a dog. Humans have lived with dogs for thousands of years. They guard us. They hunt with us. They protect children. They do not run when danger comes." Some students whispered to each other, clearly amused. One of them pointed at Rex. "It is too small. It does not even show teeth." Rex lifted his head at the sound of voices. His eyes followed the pointing hand, but he did not growl. He only stayed close to Aaron's leg. Vorin studied the dog with careful eyes. "Your people trust this creature with their lives?" "Yes," Aaron answered. "Dogs fight when they must. Not for power but for their humans." A heavy silence filled the hall for a moment, then a loud voice broke it. "Then let us test that belief." The speaker was Crix, a proud student from a warrior species known for brutal training. "If this dog is truly brave, let it face one of our lesser beasts." Gasps filled the room. Aaron's heart jumped. He shook his head. "This is only a lesson, not a battle." Crix stepped forward. "Lessons must be proven. Your Earth animal cannot compare to our creatures." The instructor did not stop him right away. Vorin's eyes glowed faintly with interest. "A controlled trial may be useful for learning," he said slowly. Aaron felt fear rise in his chest. He knelt beside Rex and placed both hands on the dog's neck. "Stay close," he whispered. Rex licked his hand once, calm and trusting. Around them, the students formed a wide circle. The training floor opened in the center of the hall. Energy barriers rose around the space, creating a safe field. A low growl echoed as a holographic cage appeared. Inside it stood a creature twice the size of Rex. It had thick scales and long teeth that shined under the lights. Its eyes burned with hunger. The class went quiet. Aaron's breath became slow and heavy. He could feel Rex's body tense beside him, not with fear but with focus. The dog's ears stood straight. His tail lifted slightly. He did not bark. He watched. Crix laughed. "Look at it shaking." Rex was not shaking. He was ready. Aaron stood slowly and took one step forward with the dog. The creature in the cage slammed against the barrier, roaring. Some students stepped back in fear. Aaron spoke softly, more to himself than to anyone else. "You see only teeth and size. We see heart." The alien students looked at Rex again, and for the first time they noticed something different. The small Earth animal did not hide. He did not lower his head. His eyes stayed locked on the threat ahead. Vorin raised his hand. "This lesson is not finished," the instructor said. "Observe carefully. Earth's survival may not look like ours." The mockery had not fully ended, but it had begun to fade. Something new had entered the room. A feeling of doubt. A feeling of curiosity. And deep inside the silent hall, a brave dog waited, ready to show what Earth truly meant by strength. The energy barriers hummed and glowed, casting pale blue light across the training floor. Aaron stood with Rex close at his side, feeling the small dog's steady presence. The alien students whispered among themselves, still curious but cautious. Crix, the tall warrior cadet, smirked, sure that this would humiliate the human and his companion. The cage containing the alien beast slid open with a hiss. The creature stepped forward, massive claws clicking on the metal floor. Its eyes glowed bright orange and its long, curved teeth gleamed under the hall's lights. The crowd held its breath. Many students shuffled backward, unsure if they had seen anything like this before. Aaron took a deep breath. He whispered to Rex, "Watch carefully. Move only when I move." The dog's ears twitched and he pressed closer, ready but calm. Crix called out, "Go on, let us see what your dog can do. Fight." He laughed, enjoying the moment, expecting chaos. Aaron's heart pounded. He knew Rex was brave, but the alien beast was stronger, faster, and far bigger than anything Earth had sent against dogs. The instructor's eyes glimmered with anticipation, curious to see what would happen. The alien creature lunged, testing the dog's reaction. Rex did not flinch. He darted forward, low and fast, moving to the side. His jaws snapped at the beast's foreleg, forcing it to stumble slightly. A collective gasp echoed across the hall. Students leaned forward, some in surprise, others in disbelief. Crix's grin faltered for a moment. "It will not last," he shouted. Rex's movements were quick and precise. He circled the alien, biting when he could and retreating before the creature could strike back. Aaron mirrored the dog's motions, guiding him with subtle hand gestures and quiet words. He moved calmly, confident, while the other students panicked. They could not believe a small Earth dog dared to challenge a predator so much larger. The alien beast roared and swiped with one claw. Rex jumped back just in time, letting the creature's massive limb crash against the floor. Sparks flew where claws scraped the metal surface. Aaron's stomach tightened, but he did not step back. He knew Rex trusted him. He trusted Rex. That bond, forged through years of training and shared experiences, was stronger than any physical strength in the room. A few students tried to step forward with energy weapons, but Voron's voice stopped them. "Do not interfere. Observe. This is a lesson about more than power." The crowd watched in tense silence. Even Crix's laughter had vanished. The dog's courage was forcing them to rethink their assumptions about Earth animals. Rex ran at the alien again, barking sharply. He bit the creature's leg, holding on as the predator thrashed. Aaron quickly moved beside him, keeping both of them safe while the dog's attacks slowed the beast's movements. Students exchanged stunned glances. The creature was large, dangerous, and deadly, yet the small dog kept it busy, dodging and striking without fear. Crix's confidence wavered as he realized the dog was not running. He shouted, "It cannot win. It is too small." Yet the dog's eyes remained fixed on the beast, full of determination. Aaron moved smoothly, always keeping Rex protected, never letting the dog face the predator alone. Every bite, every dodge, every leap showed skill, courage, and intelligence. The alien beast roared in frustration, unable to land a solid strike on Rex. The dog's speed and agility were unmatched. Aaron's calm guidance gave Rex the edge the students could not imagine. The hall went quiet except for the sound of claws, growls, and the dog's sharp barks. Even the most confident alien cadets were frozen, watching the display unfold before them. Finally, Rex leaped onto the creature's back, nipping at its neck. The alien stumbled and spun, trying to shake him off. Aaron stayed close, supporting his companion. The predator roared one last time and, with a powerful leap, retreated toward the far edge of the arena. Sparks flew as its claws hit the metal floor. The dog stood firm, chest heaving, eyes bright and alert. He had faced the beast and forced it to back down without any weapons, without size, without armor. The hall was silent for several heartbeats. Then whispers grew louder as the students began to understand what had happened. The human cadet and his dog had survived a creature far bigger, far stronger, and far more terrifying than anything they had faced before. No one had expected the small dog to act with such bravery, speed, and intelligence. Aaron knelt beside Rex, running his hand over the dog's head. "Well done," he said softly. The dog licked his hand once, proud and calm. Voron stepped forward, silver skin gleaming under the lights. Observation confirmed. Courage, intelligence, and bond can equal or surpass brute force. Earth animals are not to be underestimated. His voice echoed across the hall, leaving no room for doubt. The lesson had been made clear. Crix, usually full of pride and arrogance, swallowed hard. He looked at Rex and then at Aaron, realizing that his laughter and mockery had been premature. The students, still murmuring, began to look at Earth creatures with a mixture of fear and respect. Aaron and Rex stood together, calm after the chaos, a small team that had proven that strength did not always come from size alone. The energy barriers deactivated slowly, and the hall's lights softened. The alien cadets were quiet, still trying to process what they had witnessed. One thing was clear to everyone present. Earth animals and humans who understood them could be far more dangerous than anyone expected. Rex trotted beside Aaron as he returned to the back of the hall, head held high, eyes scanning the room. The mockery was gone. Something new had begun: curiosity, respect, and perhaps a little fear. The dangerous test had ended, but its lesson would echo in the academy for a long time. The hall was quiet after the test, but the tension still lingered in the air. Aaron and Rex stood at the edge of the training floor, eyes scanning the room. Many students were still shocked, whispering to each other about what they had just seen. The alien beast had retreated, but it was clear it had not expected such a small opponent to fight back. Aaron felt his pulse steady as he watched the students' reactions. Rex, too, seemed aware that the danger had not fully passed. His tail moved slowly and his ears twitched at every sound. He was alert, ready for anything. Suddenly, the lights flickered and a second, larger beast appeared from the shadows of the hall. Its body was longer, thicker, and covered with jagged scales that reflected the lights in sharp patterns. Its eyes glowed a fierce red, and smoke rose from its nostrils as it roared. The students froze, stepping back in fear. Even Crix looked unsettled. This creature was stronger and faster than the first. It was the real test, one meant to show the humans their place in the galaxy. Aaron knelt beside Rex, placing a hand on the dog's head. "Stay close. Trust me," he whispered. Rex pressed against his leg, muscles coiled and ready to spring. The dog's calmness seemed to give Aaron strength, reminding him that courage was not measured by size but by heart. The alien students exchanged nervous glances. They had expected the dog to run, to hide, or to fail. Instead, it stayed focused and unafraid. The larger beast stepped forward, claws digging into the metal floor. Sparks flew with each movement. It roared, shaking the hall with its sound. Aaron moved slowly, making sure Rex mirrored his steps. The dog's eyes never left the creature. Then, with a sudden burst of speed, the beast charged. Dust and energy sparks flew as it lunged toward them. The students gasped. Some covered their eyes, believing the dog and human would be crushed instantly. Rex darted forward first, moving like a shadow. He bit the creature's leg, holding on with all his strength. The beast thrashed violently, trying to shake him off, but the dog's grip was firm. Aaron rolled to the side, keeping out of reach of the swinging claws, and whispered commands. Each word was simple, guiding Rex with precision. The students could hardly believe what they were seeing. A dog no bigger than some of their pets was holding back a creature meant to tear through warriors twice its size. The beast roared again, turning its massive head to snap at Rex. The dog jumped back with perfect timing, landing lightly on the floor. Its movements were quick and calculated. Aaron knew the dog was using its instincts, anticipating the creature's actions. He stayed close, protecting the dog while letting it do what it did best. Together they were a team, perfectly in sync. The hall seemed to hold its breath as the dance of predator and defender unfolded. Rex attacked again, this time biting at the creature's side. Sparks flew where claws met teeth, and the larger beast stumbled slightly, surprised by the dog's speed. Aaron moved with him, dodging a swipe and using the dog's momentum to guide the creature away from the crowd. The students were speechless. They had seen power and skill, but this was something else. This was courage in its purest form, a small earth animal defying odds that no one had thought possible. The alien beast lunged for a third time, more furious than before. Rex met it head-on, snapping at its claws and dodging teeth. Aaron jumped forward to push the dog out of danger, but Rex twisted mid-air, landing behind the creature and biting its tail. The predator roared in pain and fury, spinning to face the dog again. Every movement was fast, precise, and fearless. Aaron could feel the hall vibrating with energy, every student watching in awe. Crick stepped back, unsure now. How is it possible?" he muttered under his breath. Other students whispered the same thing. They had mocked earth creatures, calling them weak, but now they saw the truth. Strength was not only in muscle and size, it was in intelligence, courage, and the will to protect. The dog ran again, circling the alien beast, biting and distracting. Aaron followed closely, guiding Rex and keeping himself safe. The creature roared one final time, exhausted from trying to strike the fast, fearless dog. With a massive leap, it finally stumbled back and slammed into the far wall, unable to continue. Rex stood firm, chest heaving, fur slightly ruffled but eyes shining bright. He had faced the creature without fear, without hesitation, and forced it to retreat. Aaron knelt beside him, voice steady. "Good job, Rex. You did it." A heavy silence fell over the hall. Then slowly whispers turned into murmurs of admiration. The alien students began to understand. This small dog had defeated a creature they considered unstoppable. Aaron's calm confidence and the dog's bravery had changed everything. Even Crix looked on with respect, no longer laughing. The instructor's silver eyes glimmered with pride. "This is the lesson," Voran said. "Courage, loyalty, and intelligence can surpass raw power." Rex trotted beside Aaron as the hall lights returned to normal. His tail wagged slightly, his chest rising and falling with pride. Aaron smiled, running a hand over the dog's head. The students continued to murmur, realizing that they had witnessed something extraordinary. A dog, a human, and their bond had shown that strength could come in the smallest package. By the time the hall emptied, the story of the brave dog had already begun to spread. Students whispered about it in corridors and training rooms. Even the instructors knew this day would be remembered. Aaron and Rex walked back to the dorms, calm and proud. The fury they had unleashed in the hall had proven more than just survival. It had proven respect, loyalty, and the power of courage. The hall remained quiet long after the battle ended. Aaron and Rex stood together, breathing evenly, their bodies tired but steady. Around them, the alien students were frozen in awe. No one moved at first. The larger predator had returned to its enclosure, growling softly, but even it seemed to respect the small dog that had driven it back. The energy of the hall shifted from fear to something new: curiosity, wonder, and a deep, unspoken respect. Whispers began to spread among the students. "I did not think it could do that," one muttered, voice trembling slightly. Another added, "It is only a dog, and yet it was fearless." Eyes that had mocked Earth creatures now looked with astonishment at Aaron and his companion. Even Crix, who had been loud and brash moments before, stared in silence, unable to form the words. He had expected a failure, a short show of weakness, but instead he had witnessed courage and skill that defied belief. Voran stepped forward, silver skin gleaming under the lights, and raised his hands to bring attention to the hall. "Observe carefully," he said slowly. "Today you saw that strength is not measured only by size, armor, or weaponry. Intelligence, courage, and loyalty are forces that cannot be ignored. The human and his companion have taught us that lesson." His voice carried across the room, firm but calm, and every student felt the weight of his words. Aaron knelt to Rex, brushing a hand across the dog's fur. "You did well," he whispered softly. Rex nudged his hand, eyes bright, proud of the work they had done together. The hall had been a place of ridicule before, full of mocking laughter and disbelief, but now it was transformed into a place of acknowledgement. The small dog that once drew laughter now commanded attention and respect from every creature present. Students began to approach slowly, hesitant at first, as if testing the boundaries of what they were allowed to do. Some bent low to look at Rex, studying his posture and movements. Others whispered among themselves, trying to understand how such a small animal could face creatures far larger and stronger without fear. Aaron stayed beside his companion, letting them observe but keeping a careful watch. He understood their curiosity, but he also knew that this was not a display of domination. It was a display of partnership, trust, and courage. One alien student, a tall being with horns and amber eyes, stepped forward. "Human," he said, voice careful and respectful, "I did not expect this. I thought your species was weak. I thought your animals were weak. I see now that I was wrong." Aaron nodded, offering a small smile. He did not boast, for he knew that true respect was earned, not demanded. Rex barked softly as if agreeing, and wagged his tail slightly, a small gesture that carried meaning beyond words. The hall was filled with a sense of awe. Some students could not hide their amazement, while others who had mocked earlier, lowered their heads in silent acceptance. Even Crix approached cautiously, studying the dog and human as if searching for some trick, some explanation. When he found none, he simply stepped back and nodded, a gesture of reluctant respect. Aaron did not react. He only stayed beside Rex, knowing that actions had already spoken louder than words. Voran addressed the students once more. "Let this day serve as a reminder. Do not judge creatures by size, appearance, or history alone. Observe, learn, and respect the abilities and courage of others. The bond between this human and his dog demonstrates a power that some of you may never have considered. Strength comes in many forms." His words settled over the hall like a quiet wave. The students absorbed them, some slowly shaking their heads in disbelief, others with eyes wide, imagining what they had just witnessed. A few students gathered closer, speaking softly to one another. "It moved faster than anything I expected. The dog knew exactly what to do, always one step ahead. Even the larger predator feared it. These whispers carried through the hall, spreading the message of respect. Aaron listened quietly, satisfied that the lesson had reached their minds. It was not about fear, it was about understanding and admiration for a being that had once seemed insignificant. By the time the hall had cleared, a sense of order and calm had returned, but it was different from before. The laughter and mocking were gone. In their place were thoughtful looks and cautious glances at Earth creatures. Aaron and Rex walked to the edge of the floor, side by side, still alert but proud. Every step they took left an impression, a quiet reminder that bravery and loyalty could shine brighter than claws, teeth, or armor. The story of the dog's courage began to spread through the academy even after the day ended. Students told each other quietly in dormitories, in corridors, and during training exercises. The legend of a small Earth dog that had faced enormous predators without fear became a lesson that would not be forgotten. Aaron and Rex had not only survived, they had earned the respect of an entire hall of warriors, proving that courage and heart could overcome even the most impossible challenges. The day after the trial, the atmosphere at the Galactic Academy had completely changed. Students who had laughed at Earth creatures now spoke quietly about what they had seen. Teachers and cadets alike gathered in small groups, sharing stories of the brave dog and his human companion. Aaron walked beside Rex through the corridors, feeling the curious eyes following them. The whispers were no longer mocking, they carried respect and awe. Everywhere they went, students stopped to watch them, imagining the courage it had taken to face creatures far larger than themselves. Aaron felt a quiet pride, though he did not show it openly. Rex walked calmly at his side, tail low but steady, as if he understood that something important had shifted. For years, humans had been underestimated, and their animals dismissed as weak. But now, in a hall filled with beings from countless worlds, that perception had begun to change. The courage of one small dog and its human had left a mark far stronger than any weapon or display of brute strength. News of the dog's bravery spread quickly through the Academy's communication networks. Holographic screens in training rooms displayed reports of the battle. Students who had been absent that day paused their lessons to watch the replay. They saw a small brown dog darting between the legs and claws of a massive predator, biting, dodging, and never giving an inch. Aaron and Rex moved as one, perfectly in sync, teaching the audience an important lesson. Bravery is measured not by size but by heart and loyalty. Even Crix, once loud and dismissive, now approached with careful steps. "I underestimated you," he said quietly, avoiding Aaron's eyes at first. "I thought Earth animals were weak and I thought humans were foolish. I see now that I was wrong." Aaron nodded, offering no words of victory. The lesson was already made clear. Rex barked softly and wagged his tail, a small acknowledgement of respect. Crix looked at the dog and then back at Aaron, understanding that courage could not always be challenged by force alone. The instructors held a meeting that afternoon, discussing the events of the trial. Voran spoke to the group with calm authority. "The human cadet and his dog have shown us what many of us have not considered. Strength is more than muscle and armor. Intelligence, loyalty, and courage can overcome obstacles that seem impossible." His silver eyes scanned the room. "Let this story be recorded and remembered. Let it guide future lessons about underestimated beings and unexpected heroes." Students began to ask to train with Earth animals. They wanted to understand how such a small companion could change the tide of battle. Aaron agreed, but only in structured lessons, teaching respect and cooperation. Rex became the center of attention, patiently allowing students to observe, learning that respect is earned through experience, not fear. The bond between human and dog was no longer seen as ordinary. It was extraordinary, a living example of how even the smallest beings could become legends when paired with courage and trust. Over the following weeks, stories of the trial spread beyond the academy. News holograms across nearby colonies told of the dog that had faced alien predators and won. Cadets repeated the tale in training rooms, dormitories, and mess halls. Teachers used it as an example of strategy, intelligence, and bravery. The human and his dog became symbols of Earth's hidden power. Even species that had previously dismissed humans paused to reconsider their assumptions. Respect, once difficult to earn, had been granted by the simplest act of courage. Aaron walked along the observation decks with Rex at his side. Below, training grounds were filled with students practicing alongside various creatures, inspired by what they had seen. Some of the students tried to mimic Rex's movements, learning how to anticipate, dodge, and act with precision. Aaron watched quietly, satisfied that the lesson had taken root. Rex nudged his hand with a soft bark as if saying, "We did well." Aaron smiled faintly, feeling the weight of the moment. Their journey had been small steps leading to something far larger than themselves. By the end of the term, the human and his dog had earned not just respect, but admiration. New cadets entering the academy were told of their courage before even meeting them. Stories of small Earth animals facing the impossible became a source of inspiration for everyone, a reminder that size and strength alone do not determine the outcome of any challenge. Aaron and Rex walked through halls that once laughed at them, now filled with nods, smiles, and quiet acknowledgement of their legend. The Hall of Fame in the Academy displayed holograms of creatures that had made history. Soon, a new addition appeared, a brown dog with sharp, intelligent eyes, standing proudly beside a human cadet. The display was simple, showing their courage and partnership. Students paused to stare, some in disbelief, others with admiration. Teachers used the example for lessons about strategy, loyalty, and bravery. It became clear that legends could come in the smallest packages and that even beings from Earth could leave an unforgettable mark across the galaxy. Aaron and Rex often walked together in quiet moments, away from the bustling halls. The dog's loyalty never wavered, and Aaron understood that the bond they shared was more powerful than any recognition. Legends are remembered, yes, but it is the trust and courage shared in the moment that lasts forever. The story of a human and his dog had grown into a symbol, inspiring countless beings to respect the underestimated and value the unseen. Across the academy and beyond, whispers continued. Even the smallest protector could become a force that changed the galaxy.